Guten Tag, Deutschlerner. My name is Madison and I am a German student at Emory University in Atlanta. This tutorial will discuss the differences between two words, wurden and würden. Despite how similar these words appear and sound, their usage and meaning is actually quite different. This tutorial will take several approaches to explaining how these words are used, and we will discuss both German grammar cases and functionality, and do some practice as well to try to understand these words. By the end of this video, you should be able to answer questions like this. Which of the following words correctly fits in the following sentence? Sie hatte ihren Eltern erzählt, sie wurde or Wurde bei ihrer Freundin übernachten. Let's look at some examples to see how these words are used. Wenn ich hungrig wurde translates to if I were to get hungry, now, in the present. But with one small change, wenn ich hungrig wurde translates to whenever I got hungry back sometime in the past. So how do these very similar sentences convey different ideas and thoughts? And how do we know when to use one word over the other? Both wurden and wurden come from the stem word werden, and therein lies part of the problem. Because as you may know, werden can be used three different ways in German. The first way is when it is used with the infinitive of another verb. In this case, it means will and expresses the future tense. For example, ich werde diesen Sommer in Atlanta arbeiten means I will work in Atlanta this summer. The second way it is used is when it's used with a past participle of another verb. In this case, it forms the passive voice. In the sentence, mein Auto wird jetzt repariert, that sentence translates to, my car is now being repaired, which is a passive voice statement. The third way it's used is when it's used by itself to mean to get or to become, as in, es wird draußen kalt, it is becoming cold outside. In the present tense, werden is easily conjugated following the standard strong verb conjugation pattern, in that the second and third person singular forms, the du and sie forms, involve a change to the verb stem. Wurden is the simple past or praeteritum form of werden. This is the past form we use when telling a story or when writing. Würden is the subjunctive to form of werden. Remember that the subjunctive to expresses as if or wishful or hypothetical notions and situations. Also note that the subjunctive is not a verb tense, but rather a mood. That we will discuss in a few moments. At this point, I want to take a second to mention the slight difference in pronunciation of these two words. The U umlaut of Wurde is formed by rounding and puckering your lips, just like you're giving your grandma a kiss. It's also pronounced at the front of your mouth. One way to make this sound is to start by saying the E sound, and then just slowly round and pucker your lips while holding the E sound, and you'll automatically form the U umlaut sound. Meanwhile, the U of Wurde is pronounced further back in your mouth and almost sounds like someone from Brooklyn is saying it. Sometimes it's easier to understand the differences in these words by examining how they create meaning in different ways. German has four moods that categorize how we communicate. These are the indicative, imperative, interrogative, and subjunctive moods, but we are just going to talk about the indicative and subjunctive too in this tutorial. The indicative is used to express factual statements. Within this mood, wurden is the simple past of werden, and it can be used in two ways. First, we can use it to form the passive voice in the past tense, like in the sentence, mein Auto wurde repariert, my car was being repaired. The second way it is used is to say to get or become in the past tense within the indicative mood, such as in the sentence, es wurde gestern kalt, which translates to, it was getting cold yesterday. The subjunctive mood is used to express wishes and hypothetical statements, or describe contrary to fact situations. Würden is then the present tense of werden in the subjunctive mood, and can be used in two ways. One, you can use it by itself to mean would get or become, like in the sentence, wenn ich hungrig wurde, if I were to get hungry. Secondly, you can use it with the infinitive of another verb to just mean would, like in the sentence, wenn ich heute Abend einen Film sehen würde, if I would see a movie this evening. To recap, wurden is a form of werden that expresses the indicative mood in the simple past. It can be used in the passive voice in the simple past to express to become in the indicative past tense. Würden is the present tense subjunctive mood form of werden. It is used to express wishes and as-if statements. It can be used by itself to express would get or would become, or it can be used with another verb in the infinitive to mean would. Now let's do some practice. See if you can pick the correct word, wurden or wurden, for each of the next sentences. Try this sentence first. Which word is correct, wurden or wurden? This sentence expresses a wish or a hypothetical situation. She would be happy. It also clearly uses the subjunctive to mood with the word wussten. So wurden is the correct answer here. Now try this one. This sentence is in the passive voice in the past tense and discusses something that actually happened. Democracy was invented. So Wurde is the correct answer. What about this one? Here we're talking about a hypothetical situation in which I would like to play the piano, but given the circumstances, I don't have enough time. Therefore, subjunctive to is the clear choice. Note here how wurde plus spielen creates the verb phrase would play. Try this last one. See if you can pick the correct word. This can be translated as, the U.S. debt became larger year to year. So this sentence expresses becoming in the simple past, so it must be wurde. Also, this is actually happening, so we know the indicative is appropriate here. Now see if you can complete this short quiz. These examples are pretty difficult, but they are from actual German texts, so give them your best shot. See if you can fill in the gaps in these translations. Many years before I became a retired man, I would have sworn that never in my life would I go to a meeting of retirees in the cafe, let alone to visit a tea dance for seniors. The first clause simply describes becoming something in the past, so wurde is correct. The second part further describes a hypothetical as-if situation, something he would never thought he would do. Therefore, the subjunctive is correct and wurde should be used. Let's try another. When I was invited to casting, I was not yet sure of which role I would play. The first phrase uses the past tense in the passive voice, in reference to something that actually happened in the past, so wurde is the correct choice. In the second part of the sentence, wurde is used to mean would in the phrase, which role I would play. Give this last sentence a try. I never would have thought that the World Cup would be so visible and that the German team, for the first time, would play the kind of football that one could be somewhat proud of. This sentence is all about a hypothetical situation. This man never would have thought that any of this could have happened. Therefore, each werden word in the sentence will be in the subjunctive form wurden. There was a lot of information in this video, so feel free to watch it as many times as you need to understand the differences among these words. There are also more German grammar tutorials by Emory students available at the link below. Thank you for watching. Vielen Dank und viel Glück!